Today we will learn about payment terms, which is also known as terms of payment. Whenever we are going for any sales deed or whenever we are going for any vendor invoice, so that time we are using these payment terms on customer as well as on vendor. So it is basically related to our transaction or related to our sales invoice or vendor invoice. Whenever we are going to decide our due date or whenever we are going to decide we are going to decide the discount calculation, so that time payment terms is all applicable. Also, it is applicable on our installments. So I'm going to take all these scenarios. Hi, my name is Pradeep. Now let's go into the system and we will understand what is this payment terms and how to create these payment terms. Terms of payment generally determine the due date calculation as well as the discount calculation, and it is applicable on invoice as well as in the master data. So we have two different options. If it is very, like, you can say it is always the same payment terms we are going to use, so better you update in the master record, whether it is customer master or vendor master, whether it is related to logistic or only related to company code. So if it is related to accounting, then you update this one in the company code segment. So whenever we are going for any direct transactions or direct invoice related to customer and vendor, it will applicable on the invoice directly. So I have created one payment terms. Let's say the payment terms created as Z001, and this payment terms I can maintain at master record. So let's say on master data I created. In general, you can take customer or you can take vendor, because one payment terms can be used both on customer and vendor. Depends on your settings. If you have only created for customer, then it is applicable on customer. If you have created vendor, then it is applicable vendor. If you have created for both, then it will applicable on both. Now this one I'm going to update in my master data. So whenever I am going to post the invoice, then directly it is going to reflect. Next question, in master data we have two segments where we are going to update. Like in master data we have the sales segment is there, and we have the accounting segment or the company code segment is there. So if I am going to update in the sales segment, then when you are going to create the sales order, there it will reflect the particular payment terms and the terms of payment. If you have updated in the company code segment, if you are going to post a FB 70 or FB 60, then it is going to reflect here. So it depends. If it is fixed nature, then maybe we can update in the master record, or if it is, let's say, keep changing in first quarter some payment terms, in second quarter some payment terms, or in different close year end some different payment terms we are offering to our customer or vendor, then in that case better you update in the transaction or directly posting the invoice. There you can update. So all options are available. So it can be master data or it can be at the time of transaction posting. If you will update in the master data, then at the time of transaction it will reflect. If you will not update in master data, then manually at the time of posting the transactions user can update it. In fact, also we can update the payment terms, we can change the payment terms, we can modify the payment terms at the time of invoice posting also. For example, the payment terms created at master data, so obviously it is flowing right now in my transaction, and let's say at the time of posting the invoice, I want to override these payment terms. So I can change here from G001 to G002. So whatever the settings related to G002 is there, so it is applicable on that. In fact, if let's say we have posted one payment terms and after posting the invoice, at line item labels also we can change it. So go to the document, then edit it, then you can change it also. Let's say initially it was posted with G001, and then in line items also we can change it. I will show you the so all these different options. So in different way we can use the payment terms, provided that authorization should be there. If I don't have the authorization, then obviously it is not going to work. So as per your payment term settings, then accordingly the due date will come or your discount calculation will be there. So till now we understood how to use the payment terms or the business point of view. Now let's see where we can update these payment terms. Now let me create one payment terms for you in the system, and that payment terms we will practically use in our transaction. So to create the payment terms, so go to the transaction code OBB8. So here you can find some system delivered payment terms are there, and you can also create these payment terms. So click on new entry, take here something as your payment term. So let's say I will take here the payment terms as P001, and this payment terms I am going to use in my vendor, only for vendor it is applicable. But you can see here the two options are there. We can use in customer and vendor, both supplier, customer and supplier, both option is there. So if I want to use in only supplier, then I may uncheck, I can keep it here and I can uncheck this customer option. So let's remove the first option, that means customer option, I will remove it here. So I will only keep this supplier option and remove this supplier. Now in this payment term, assume that I'm not going to calculate any discount. So this payment term is, that is 15 days due date. So 15 days will be due date. So when the invoice will be posted, 15 days will be the due date. So this one we are going to take as our own explanation. So it will be within 15 days. Right? So this one is applicable on vendor and it is within 15 days. Then here we have different options are there, like to calculate the baseline date. So to calculate the baseline date, first option is you can take document date. So during invoice, what will be your invoice date or document date? From that date, the due date will be calculated. So that we are going to take baseline date. So in the system, in the payment tab, if you will go, if sorry, in transaction, if you are going to the payment tab, there you will find the option of baseline date, which manually maybe you are selecting. But if you are going to define the payment terms, then automatically it will flow to our particular invoice if payment terms is updated. And if I'm going to take document date, for example, the document date is my purchase order date, or let's say any invoice date. So automatically from the invoice date, the due date will be calculated. If you don't want to take the document date, then you can take the posting date. For example, let's say document date is 1st July. This is our document date. So if we are going to select here, the document date will be baseline date. So from this date, 15 days will be considered by the system. That is one option. Second option may be posting date. Let's say posting date we are going to use here, that is 3rd July. So if you'll select the option posting date, then from posting date, 15 days will be considered. So posting date will be our baseline date, or maybe entry date you can select. Maybe we are posting the invoice on 5th July, but uh, entry date will be 5th July, but posting date is 3rd July. So if you are going to select entry date, then it will be 5th July. So it depends what your requirement, accordingly baseline date will be used. But if we will follow the best practice, then always we prefer to use document date as our invoice due date, or from this date the invoice date due date will be calculated. So baseline date will be our document date. In my settings, I am going to take my baseline date as invoice date or document date. Then this is two other options are there. Block key, I already prepared one video for block key that you may check, that I will give in the description. Payment method also I already prepared, so that also you can check. Right now we will only focus on the payment terms. So skip this installment payment, so that I will come to towards end of the video, so completely watch this video. Then here we have the different option. The first option I'm going to select here, that 15 days will be the due date. So I'm just going to keep here that 15 days will be my due date. So due days will be calculated within 15 days. So it's created and it is applicable on supplier, and just save it. Now this payment terms we can use in different way. I can use in my master record, or I can use in my transaction. So first option we will take here, that I'm going to update in my master record. So I will go to the, because I selected here supplier. So this one is my supplier. So I'm going to use in my supplier, and that too, let's say company code segment. So supplier means in S4 it is business partner. So we will go to business partner, and this is my supplier or vendor. So we will update it. So I just keep the edit mode, and here I will update in my finance segment, or the finance role of my supplier, which is vendor or FLVN00. So there I'm going to update it. So I got here the company code. So whatever the payment terms I created there under my OBB8 settings, so that I will get it here. Now you can see the field is blank, because that means earlier when I created this business partner, so this field was not updated. Now I can update this payment terms here. Okay, so that it will reflect in my vendor invoice. So I will do that. So what was the payment terms I created? P001. You can search it and save it. So now we are going to post one invoice. So I'm going to post one invoice directly through the finance. I will debit my expenditure and I'm going to credit the vendor, and there we will see whether this payment terms is going to reflect in my transaction, because I already updated my master record. So let's go for that transaction code AB60. So here you can update AB60. Otherwise accounting, financial accounting, then go to accounts payable, then go to document entry, or you can use here the Fury application. Select the vendor here, update it, then invoice date. Now whatever I'm going to select here, that will be my baseline date, because here I selected that my document date will be my baseline date. So from that due date, the due date will be calculated. So let's say posting date is my current date, which is 5th July, but invoice date I'm going to take 4th July. So 5th July is my posting date. System is not going to consider here 5th July, rather it is going to select the 4th July will be my invoice date. So amount, then just randomly I'm going to select one GL account for debit entry. Now we will check that particular payment terms whether it is updated in my invoice or not. So go to the payment tab. So you need to select the payment term, payment tab, this one. You need to select it and check there whether the particular payment terms is reflecting or not. Now you can see the baseline date is 4th July, which is my document date or invoice date. And from that date, automatically you can see this invoice date or the payment terms updated. So payment terms is updated. So here I have not updated manually, as I have updated in master record. So automatically in transaction it is there, and because of these payment terms you can say the due date is calculated. Now if I will check my vendor invoice, so there you will find that due date. So we have defined the payment terms as it is 15 days, the due date will be 15 days, that's it. And as per that payment terms, so if you are going to post this invoice, so the due date will be the 15 days. So this is one option, or this is how we can use the payment terms. Document posted. Now if you'll check this one in our open invoice, this is my entry, and you can see this payment terms is also reflecting in my line items. Now if I want, I can also modify it, but before that let me show you the due date here in my invoice or in the line items. So if I will add here the due date, so what is due date here? It is 9th July, so 15 days from 4th July, which is our invoice date. Now if I want to change the payment terms, so I can change that. I can update a different payment terms. So just update it, edit. Now it's active, this particular field is active. Now you can change anything, you can add a new payment terms. We may remove these payment terms also, the line items, but provided that authorization should be there. So the particular user, if they are going to do something, then authorization should be there. So this is first option where we can create the payment terms and we can use this particular payment terms. Now let me create one more payment term here, and that payment terms we will apply in our customer, so that you will get the option like the use of different options for the payment terms. So I'm going to, now you know how to create a payment terms. Now let me show you one payment terms with a different options, and accordingly we are going to use it. Once again we will go to the payment terms creation, that same OBB8, and here I already created one payment term, so that I am going to show you. So here you can see the similar options are there, and this one is created with both options. That means it is applicable for both customer and supplier both. And what is the option here I have maintained here, that 5% 3 days. So last one just for due date calculation, whereas this one is discount will be there. So if I'm going to apply this one on invoice, maybe customer or vendor, and if we are going to, let's say assume that it is on customer. So if customer is going to make the payment within 3 days, so here I selected 3 days. So if customer due date is 15 days, but customer is going to, if customer is going to make the payment within 3 days, then we are going to offer a cash discount. I'm not talking about trade discount. For trade discount, again, it will be there in the pricing procedure, and condition types will be there, or condition record will be there. We are talking about the cash discount or collection discount. So if customer is going to make the payment within 3 days, then 5% discount we are going to offer. If customer is going to make the payment within 7 days, then 2% discount will be offered. If with otherwise it is 15 days due date. So we have mentioned that 15 days will be due date, but to get the discount, all this customer need to go for early. This is basically we are encouraging the customer so that they should go for early collection. So in this case, what will be your accounting entry? So your accounting entry will be bank account will be debit, collection account will be debit, then customer account is going to credit, and automatically because of this configuration, system is going to calculate discount allowed or discount payment to customer. So this will be a auto posting and auto calculation and auto posting. So when we are going for a collection entry, automatically this entry will be there. We will see that. Now this payment terms I'm going to use, and again here also my invoice date will be the document date as per my configuration. So let's try this one. Now this one I will not, I don't know whether it is updated in my custom master. If it is not updated, then manually I'm going to update in the invoice. So let me post that. So this one I will post with a B70 entry. You may apply this one also on the sales order, or you can update in the customer master in the sales segment. So it will update in the sales order too. So I will post it direct entry, which is FB70. So go to account receivable, document entry, FB70. So select the customer. I'm just randomly selecting one customer. Let's say this customer I'm going to take. Now this will be my invoice date. So this time let me take the invoice date is today's date. So it's not posting date. This is my invoice date, but I selected today's date. Amount, let's say 3000, and my revenue entry. So you can select sales, but here cost object is there. So that's why I selected a different revenue. Then again go to the payment tab. So here payment terms is there because in master record I have updated a different payment terms. Automatically this one is reflecting here, and now I want to override this payment terms. So initially I said that we can also override the payment terms at the time of invoice posting. So I am going to use here the payment terms, which is this payment terms I'm going to use Z001, right? Enter. Now getting one message that I'm trying to change the payment terms, so it's okay. So automatically my payment terms is reflecting here along with its percentage and all, and post it. So the document posted, and in that document if you check the customer line items FBL5N, right? So here you can see this payment terms is there. Now if I will go for collection, so what is the due date? Due date is 15 days. But if customer is going to make the payment early, so then 3% discount will be 5% discount will be there within 3 days as per our configuration, as per our payment terms configuration. So the same payment terms is reflecting here. Now I'm going for a collection, and you will find that what is the due. Let's say I'm the user and I don't know what is the due item, what is the receivable item. Simply I'm just whatever the system is going to suggest me, so that will be our collection entry. So I'm going to process a F-28. So you can go for here auto collection also. Let's check that one through F-28. So here I will select the bank. So this will be my collection account, and I don't know the collection amount. So I will just continue whatever the amount it is, system is going to suggest, and I will select my customer. So what is the customer number? Customer number is 8. Now you can see as per our payment terms update. So here you will find the payment terms, that is 5%. So 5% is discount, and the discount amount will be 150. 150 on what? This amount 3000. So on base amount, discount amount is calculated, and that is wiped. So that means your collection amount will be, in this case, the collection amount will be 3000 minus 150. So that will be your collection amount. Check. So what is the net receivable amount? So receivable amount is 2850. So receivable amount is 2850. I have not entered anything. Even I don't know what is the receivable amount as per being user. So it is 3000, which is my invoice. 5% of discount, because 3 days. That means within 3 days, I'm just immediately collecting. So it's still showing that 3 days. So within 3 days, if this business customer is going to make the payment, then it is 5%. So 150 is deduction, and your collection amount will be 2850. So what will be the accounting entry here? Bank account is going to debit 2850. Customer is going to credit here 3000, because that is the debit amount. Customer is going to credit 3000, and your discount allowed is debit for 150. So this will be your auto calculation and auto posting. So let's go for it. So I need to change these line items because I just entered here 1. So I will change this one to 2850 and check this entry. Collection amount, discount allowed, and your customer. Till now we understood the use of payment terms in two different scenarios. Now coming to third option. Third option we will take as our fixed date. Like let's say our company policies, we every month 15 will be our due date. Whenever we are posting the invoice, it will be every month 15. Or maybe you can select that the invoice should be due on 15th of next month. Both options are there. For example, if I will post the invoice today, so immediately 15th will be my due date. Or if I will change my settings, so next month 15th will be due date. Okay, for example, let's say it is 16th. So what will be the due date? So due date will be the next day, next month 15th date. So that also we can fix. So let's create one more payment terms with this condition. So condition here it is, invoice should be due on every 15th of next month or same month. So I will show you both options, so accordingly you can try this both options. So we will create one payment term. So again, same payment terms creation, OBB8, right? Same OBB8 option. Then create the payment term. So last one I created as P001. Let's create this one as P002. New entry P002, and this one we will take as due one, due one 15th of next month, or 15th fixed day. Now here the setting will be same, only one changes will there. Like fixed day I will add here 15. If I will add here 15, that means it is going to apply on current month. If I will add here additional month, that means I will add here 1, then automatically it will reflect in the next month. For the time being, I'm not going to use this option. I will just add the 15. Let's see what the system is going to take the due date. Then after that, I will add this one option. Then we will see what the system is going to take the due date. So first option, I'm just going to update here the 15. Then this one is as per your settings, whether you are going to apply on customer vendor or only vendor, that you can select. This one I will take document date, and here we will take the due date as 15, which I maintain here. No need to update anything else. By default, system is going to take the fixed day as your 15 day. Save it. So this payment terms now we are going to apply on invoice. So once again, we will try this one on vendor invoice. I'm just showing on vendor invoice, but you can try this one on also customer invoice, same logic. So go to FB60, select the vendor, or let's take this one a different vendor. Last vendor was updated with a different payment terms. Let's take this one, invoice date, amount. Just randomly select any debit item. Now it's not updated any payment terms at master record level. So that is why manually I'm going to update here the payment terms. So I will update here the payment terms as P002. Now see here, what is your due date? Because of my payment terms, so because of my payment terms here, the due date is automatically, so this is my baseline date, due on 15th July 2023. It's current month because I have selected here 15 days. So the fixed days as 15 days. So whenever I'm going to post the invoice, if I will go with this option, then 15 will be my due date. Okay, now if I will take the next month, let's cancel it. First, I need to update their one. So this one I will take additional month one. Same payment terms, I just updated as one. And let's cancel it. And I will post once again. Just have a look into this. Now check, due date is what date? Due date is 15th August. 15th August is my due date. 15th, but additional month. So that means next month it is going to take. So 15 of next month, if you are going to maintain one additional month. So if I will post the invoice in August, then it will be 15th of September. So as per different terms of payment or as per different negotiation options, we are going to create n number of payment terms which we are going to use in our different transactions or in master records. So this is my third scenario where we can use payment terms. Now coming to another scenario where we are going to use on installments. So for example, let's say two scenarios. The first installment in 15 days and it is 60% of our invoice amount, and second one in 30 days and it is 14th one. So first installment 60%, second installment, that is balance 40%, first installment due, that is in 15 days, second installment due in 30 days. In this case, we have to create three payment terms. So we have to create one main payment terms. Let's say I will create a payment terms like S001. This will be our main payment terms with the installment option. Then I will create here two payment terms. Let's say S002. That will be my 15 days option with 60% rule, and S003, that is in 30 days, and then we are going to take this one as 40%. Then we will do the mapping. Then we are going to link this S002 with S001 and S003 with S001. And when in invoice or in master data need to be updated, not these individual payment terms, rather we are going to use this payment terms, S001 payment term we are going to use here. So let's check that one. Okay, so what I explained, that is it is available. So I will create three payment terms, S000, S001, S002. So S001 will be my first payment terms, S002 will be my second payment terms. So let's create the payment terms. The same option, same rule we are going to take here. So let's cancel it. I'm not going to post anyway. You got the logic how these payment terms are created and it's used. Now let me create one more payment terms. In fact, three payment terms I will create. New entry. So one is S001. This one will be our installment payment terms. Installment. And this one is applicable only on supplier. Then baseline date that I'm going to take here, the document date. Then select here installment. Only you need to select installment option in this payment terms and save it. So first one created as 000 created. Okay, so here I will do a changes. So this one, as per my example, is 000. Or let me do one thing. Let me delete it. Let me create once again so that I will be uh, synchronized with my example. Let me delete it. Once again I will create it. New entry is 000, and this will be my installment payment. Okay, so this is applicable only on supplier, and here we need to select the installment payment. Save. This is the first one I created. Now we need to create our additional payment terms. So we need to create two additional payment terms. That will be S001, and this will be our 15 days. So we will take here within 15 days, and that too 60%. So it is applicable on supplier, document date. Here no need to select the installment option. Okay, so careful here. You are not going to select the installment option here. Rather you are going to select, or you are going to give the days. Or the previous one, the first one what I created, maybe you can link it here, but I created one more. Save. S002, and this will be our second option, or the second, that is within 30 days, and that to 40% of the amount. Okay, so here no need to maintain the installment option here, no need to check this one, rather select here the days. It is 30 days. Save. So now individually we have three payment terms are there, and we are going to link the installments or the payment terms. Transaction code OBB09. So go for that. OBB9. New entry. Now add here your original payment terms. So in my example, the original payment terms is S000. That will be my first installment, which is my 60% as per my example, and this one is going to connect with my S001. S000 original payment terms will be my connected with my second installment, 40%, 40%, and this will be S002. So S001 first installment, S002 second installment, and main payment terms, that is S000. So in total we can say the main installment payment terms is S000, not the S001 and S002. Because if you observe, we have not selected here the installment option for S001 and S002. Only installment option was checked with S000. Save. Now let's post it. So I'm trying on vendor invoice. Now let's say 3000 amount, the credit amount, and the debit amount something. So as no payment term is there, so that we need to update here. And what I'm going to update here, that I'm going to update as S000. So S000 will be my main payment terms. Update it and post. Now check this invoice. Now you can see here two open items are there, and if you'll check the due date, if you check the due date, you will check the first due date, which is on from 4th, because our baseline date is 4th July. So from 4th, that is our this date, 19th July, 15 days from the due date. And this will be our first installment. So 60% of our invoice amount, that is 3,000. And second one will be my 30 days from 4th July, that is 3rd August, and this will be my 40%. So 60% of 3000, that is 1800, 40% of 3000, 1200. So this is how you can use the payment terms. So I hope you got some idea related to payment terms, how to create it, how to use it, and also we learned how to use the payment terms for your discount calculation and discount posting point of view. So you can try all these scenarios both on customer and vendor, and these are related to our general transactions. That means it is part of our global settings related to incoming payments and outgoing payments, or customer collection or vendor payment. If you want to see any other video, please let me know. I will create one video definitely for you. Thank you very much. Take care.